Hey, it's Tpok, and I'm back in Hate Plus. It's kind of loud. But yeah, what's the White Princess? Oh yeah, that's my ship. Oh, that's what I was doing. Okay. AI psychology. I know you didn't ask or anything, but I talked to an AI psychologist to get some context for the whole robot girl shit show you've got going on. It's fine that you were the whole stoic loner type and all, but it might be good for her to get some help. Anyway, I've attached what they've said. I figured you'd appreciate it. No need to thank me. Dispatch control out. While meaningfully different on a lot of levels, AI construct psychology is generally modeled after human psychology, and I personally found this is where problems manifest the most. Often, the biggest issue in AI-human relationships has very little to do with any universal particulars of AI psychology, and more to do with very different perspectives on mortality. Simply put, even now, human society is not really meant to accommodate immortality. Were an ordinary human to live for hundreds of years, they'd likely have a very similar experience. When you do a single thing for centuries, you eventually hit the limitations of differentiable skill. For example, a 500-year-old artist is more experienced than a 300-year-old artist, but the difference is so subtle, it's drowned out by all the other factors to most people. At a certain point, too much experience actually becomes a detriment, becoming too overwhelming to parse and prioritize in most cases. Even given consistent processing power increases as per Robertson's law, there's simply an upper bound in scalability when it comes to processing memories, and after centuries, this begins to take a toll. What this translates to generally is a feeling of overwhelming despondency. Although to much younger beings, AIs included, these sentiments can feel more akin to an old man shouting, "Get off my lawn." Yet it comes from a greater sense of ennui than that, a feeling of one's own mastery and knowledge of a subject being trivial compared to social trends that become increasingly alienating. It often contributes to a feeling of helplessness. What was pioneered in the 27th century AI psychology, then called robo-psychology, was the idea of respecialization. For beings that exist in social spheres with humans, the best way to stave off those feelings is to consider the much larger scale, and instead focus one energies on a whole new field, where the learning new skills has a much larger personal impact than refining something one has already mastered. For example, I personally used to work as a photographer until I moved on to human psychology, then later AI psychology. I still take some pictures now, of course, and keep up with the work of people like Mark Lee. But I find it's much easier to be positive thinking and optimistic if I don't consider advancement of that medium to be important in my life anymore. I'm sure someday I'll feel the same way about psychology, finding new limitations and attitudes to be frustrated by, but it'll be comforting to know that I could help people while I was emotionally able to, no matter how cynical and slow I'll inevitably get. Generally, I find a good time to consider respecialization is around the 400-year marker, although obviously it depends on each individual. I don't know anything about your particular circumstances. It sounds like culture shock is also a very significant factor, and that can change things a lot too. I would be very happy to speak with the construct in question at my private office on Earth, though. Consider it a personal favor for all you've done for me in the past. Dr. Autumn, the Susan Calvin Institute, North America, Earth. Oh, they're an AI. That's cool, I guess. Okay. Let's go back. Let's change your outfit to that of a detective. There we go. Sure. Why not? Show unread. And then there are still 15 more after this. Mimi has some stuff. Couldn't even scroll. Why'd that do? What? Okay. Wait, can I get more right now? Can I just extract all I can? Nice. Commit to extraction. Okay. Okay. Worthless as a wife. I don't know who Pyeon Naemon is. Or do I? I don't know. Apparently I got an achievement. And I just messed up something. Oh, that's recently extracted. So, I go to read extracted. And then I press show on red right now. Okay. The most important thing. Oh, so this is the little sister then. Yeah. I don't have anyone to talk to right now. Normally I'd just confide in Yuna, but she is what I need to talk about. Our maid Miss Wang told me something I do that helps is to write a letter, but then never send it. And then she said maybe that'll help. I sure hope so. Well, who better to address it to than you, since I couldn't send it to you even if I wanted to. I don't think you would have had advice, but I don't know. I'll give it a shot anyway. It's just that lately she's been so absorbed by this chief counselor Ryu stuff. It's all Ryu all the time. I know it sounds like I'm jealous, but it's not that at all. I mean, I'd never be jealous of her. That would just be being ungrateful. She doesn't owe me anything, I know. I'd never ask that. It's just obsessive. She doesn't even realize it. Why would her sister be jealous? She doesn't even realize it. Lately, all she talks about is their plans to change the Magunghwa with Ryu. She's really serious about it. It's all Ryu will overthrow the state this and will establish a new dynasty together at that. I mean, she's big sister Yuna. If anyone can do that, it's her. I just worry, what if there isn't room for me in her future? You know that whole motherhood credit thing? No, of course you don't. You're dead. Well, it's a new tax thing where basically they pay you for being a mom. You'd probably like that. Anyway, she was telling me that pretty much she was responsible for introducing that as a bit of law. I mean, she's not the counselor or anything. It came from someone else. But it was her idea. At first I thought it sounded great. I was really proud of her for managing to make that happen. Wow, Yuna was responsible for that. And then she started talking about it, and the whole idea was to make more people get married. And okay, fine, I guess that sounds kind of romantic, right? But then she keeps going on, and like, she wants everyone to get married and have kids right away. She's saying that it's a moral imperative for girls to marry men and have kids, or else the ship will die off forever. I asked her, what about people who don't want to? That's completely reasonable. No. What if you don't want to be with some man? Sorry, Mom, I guess that's an explanation for another time. Not that it really matters or anything. Point is, I'd never want to be with anyone but Big Sister Yuna. Everyone should. There's nothing more than that. More important than reproduction. I don't agree with that. And that said, I asked her about love and having a happy life. Like, having an important job, like she does. Finding love on your own means way, way more than hurrying up into marriage, right? You'd think that, I'm sure. And then she sighed and seemed annoyed and told me something like, that sort of hedonistic and ultra-individualistic thing is what has caused so much social ruin in the first place. I'm having trouble remembering her exact words. People worry about their selfish desires instead of worrying about their duties for the future. Wouldn't you agree that ensuring a functional future is more important? That's sort of the thing about her. It's impossible to disagree with her. I mean, she's really smart. Way more than I am. There's a reason why she's the university president and I'm just some girl. She always has a really elaborate reason for everything, and I'm sure she's always right. I just don't really understand a lot of what she says. I wish I was as smart as her so I could. Wow, I never realized it, but Queen Yuna was quite the scholar, wasn't she? I guess so, I said. Personally, I'd be happy when I'm out of a job and only have to worry about devoting myself to a husband. It'll mean we've established a social order that privileges stability, and that things for the future will be fine, she said. And that really upset me. I don't like thinking about her getting married. What about love, though? Don't you want to devote yourself? I don't want to devote myself to a husband. I just want to be with the person I love most, don't you? What about other girls like me? I asked her really anxiously. Then she said something like, but the ultimate tellus of love is reproduction. No, I didn't really understand either, so I asked her what she meant, and she said, it means that the most important expression of love is having children. Anything else is socially dysfunctional. There's lesser forms of love, of course, but being with a man is the most important it has to be. I think I'd feel the same way in Misun's situation. Oh, Hyune, of course you would. You think we have a lesser form of love, big sister? I asked her. I was crying a little. Sorry, Mom. Even as a grown adult, I'm still a crybaby. She sighed, then hugged me, and well, it didn't make me feel better. Then she said, I'm sorry, little sister, I still love you very much. I never said you didn't matter to me. You will always be close to me, that's why we're sisters, right? I only meant that there's things more important. I didn't mean to dismiss your feelings. Well, you did, I said, and I stormed off to go to sleep on the couch instead. I just couldn't. I've never been good with fights with her. Especially since, well, she's smarter than me and uses words like telos, take over the ship. Ugh, when she puts it that way. I'm just gonna take over the ship. I'm not stupid enough to think that I can argue with her ideas. She obviously really is always right. I mean, that's why she's big sister. Well, she says things like, I didn't mean to dismiss your feelings. But then she says something that does dismiss them. Anyway. She's the most important thing to me. I don't know. It's fine if she doesn't feel the same way about me, but I wish she'd at least acknowledge that. Okay, you know what? Forget it. The maid was wrong. This isn't helping at all. It's just making me even more upset to think about it. This is stupid. I'm gonna stop now. And they're their own maid who gets their own picture. Back to normal. There we go. Ex-counselor O, Misun, O Yuna, records, Kim So-yi, and then there are only 9 left. So young. Oh, I remember her. Who's So-yi though? I'm gonna open it. Oh, that's me. She's writing about me. Yes, dear, we know. Whoa, okay, that is translated as the pale bride. Instead of sick daughter for consistency's sake. Yeah, So-yi is her. Okay, that's what I thought. Okay. Apartment status, the bed is made. A few dishes need to be washed. Takeout containers need to be taken to garbage. Floors clean. After 2 years without any sort of breakthrough, and dozens of appeals without any form of acknowledgement, I believe I have discovered the evidence that I need to provide definitive proof. Well, I guess that story sort of came true after all, huh? There's always been a bizarre family legend of an eccentric but brilliant ancient earthborn ancestor who saved his terminally ill daughter through unconventional methods. In some tellings, she is a ghost that lives in a computer. In others, she is sealed away in an alternate dimension to return when the ship has landed on a planet with fresh air. I learned from the truth from my grandmother that... Who's the grandmother? Oh. In reality, she does exist, and merely is is merely in cryonic sleep in the family storage closet. I caught a glimpse of her at the gathering, and realized that she was the key to proving my thesis. Today I returned with my husband. I remember him. Oh, Pyeonnaemon. Okay, so he's got his own point of view to go. Having offered her a great-grandchildren-related bribe in order to have access to the sleeping pale bride to run tests. My theory is, as she has not consumed food or water or breathed air in nearly 1600 years, if there has been a significant increase in ambient radiation in that duration, she should be significantly less affected by it. Her chamber was sealed partially by glass, so she might not be completely unaffected, but I anticipate that the difference will be readily observable. The technology involved in her preservation seems extraordinarily designed. I can believe that it came from the same level of earthborn brilliance that built our ship. Earthborn brilliance, finally someone who acknowledges that my real parents were smarter. So you respect some of your ancestors, at least. While my husband was gracefully distracting my grandparents by listening to their stories, I set up in the storage closet, attempting to open the capsule labeled Kim Hyune, the Pale Bride. Can I click that? That's her. That's me. Kim Hyune. Look, there's even a photo of me. Cool. That action was easier said than done. A separate hacked-together computer was regulating the capsule. With the label switch for opening, it was not operational. It took a significant while to figure out that I needed to connect a secondary battery and insert an override key to enable the switch. It did not help that I was very trepidatious to fiddle with the earthborn design technology that was completely over my head. Accidentally causing damage with my clumsiness would have been disastrous. Wait, how did she figure out when Kim Jung-soo couldn't? It seems obvious to me. She's smart. The warm-up cycle took a good 10 minutes. As I watched her, I became very aware of the fact that she was a real girl. A very old one. An orphan who lost her family centuries ago, who likely had her own hopes and dreams. I found myself hoping that one day we would find a way to let her live the rest of her life, although given the state of modern medicine, optimism would be sadly unfounded. Very unfounded. Sorry. Even after she was brought back to life in the machine, she did not actually awaken, going from a near-dead state to merely sleeping. She looked very peaceful. I tried not to disturb her too badly when I took a small sample of her blood. Still, she started to open her eyes, mumbling quietly. I did. Who are you? She asked. Go back to sleep, little one, I said, touching her face gently. It's not time to wake up yet. All right, she murmured and closed her eyes again. I don't remember this at all. Suddenly felt guilty and then quickly put her back into the freeze where she belonged. It is justifiable, of course. She remains unharmed and will continue to rest peacefully. I doubt she will think of it as anything more than a brief dream. And regardless of any discomfort that I caused the poor child, proving my hypothesis may be necessary for ensuring that society thrives until the future, where she might awaken. Oh well, it was a good cause. It was for a good cause, so I don't mind. I rescued my brave husband and let my grandparents pester me about our family plans instead. I did not mind talking to them, and they discussed things more freely than the usual tone at large family gatherings. I was very alarmed to discover just how badly the main branch had been doing over the past couple of years. Losing the counselorship had therefore nobility status had a great impact on everyone, not just me, although I still feel like my situation is worse. You know, maybe it would have been better for everyone if she just kept you awake. I hadn't thought of that, you're right. However, hopefully, that situation will only be temporary. If the data received from analyzing the Pale Bride's blood sample supports my theory, and I am confident it will, it should give enough strength that it should be taken seriously again. She sounds really obsessive. It's worrying. But they will eventually. Of this I have confidence. Okay. So, president's arrest. Ah. How do you do that? You changed the music too. Okay. So there's daily report, election night 2, president's arrest. Can I... hey, stop. Show unread. I can't scroll up for some reason. Oh, maybe that's it. Okay. Well, I'm gonna end it here, I think. So, yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.